Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well, having a great week. I know I am. It's about 8:30 p.m. on a Tuesday night here. Just jumped back out to the office real quick to try to get myself set up for success for tomorrow. And in my world, that means I got to create a to-do list. And as I was sitting here working on this, it got me thinking. I've been to a lot of advisors' offices. I talk to advisors on the phone every single day, and a lot of the same stories are being told to me over the phone, saying, "Hey, Trent, I have so many. I wear so many hats. I got so many things to do. I can't get all of this done. There's just not enough hours in the day, right?" And I totally sympathize with that a lot of times. And I know a lot of you are probably feeling exactly the same way if you haven't told me directly already. But it got me thinking. There's a friend of mine who goes by the name of Rob Z, who has really helped me with my own personal development. Has really helped me train my brain to be successful. And I think I've employed maybe 10%, 15% of what he's taught me, but it's really helped me. And this is a tip that he shared with me, an efficiency tip that was developed by a guy by the name of Ivy Lee, and it's called the Daily Big Six. Now, Ivy Lee was hired by Charles Schwab when Schwab was running Bethlehem Steel back when it was one of the top manufacturing companies in the United States. Ivy was called in to do a complete business analysis on the manufacturing side for what Bethlehem Steel was doing. Obviously, in the manufacturing space, you want to make sure that you're operating as efficiently as possible. And Ivy was brought in to determine whether or not there was any gaps in that for Bethlehem. So, he runs through his entire analysis. Everything looks pretty good. He makes a few suggestions, and at the end, Schwab looks at him and says, "Hey, we really appreciate this, but what advice would you give to us up here, the executives and the office staff? Sometimes we feel like we're not getting enough done every day, and we're not operating as efficiently as possible." And he thought to himself for a second and said, "You know what you need to be doing? You need to be following my daily big six." And what that is, Schwab, is it is a prioritization of your to-do list every day. So at the end of the day, you clear off your desk and you sit down with a clear head and you say, "Okay, I have 6 things that I want to get done tomorrow, and this is number 1, and this is number 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, right?" And the rule is that you can't move on to number 2 until you've completed number 1, right? And then you can't move to number 3 until you've completed number 2, so on and so forth. Now, if you get to 5 and 6 and you haven't completed those at the end of the day, right, you 2 options. You either put those on top of the list for tomorrow, or you cross them off completely because they weren't important to be done anyways, right? And so Schwab says, "Great, I really appreciate your help. Now, what do I owe you for that advice?" And he says, in a great marketing mind that Ivy Lee was, he says, "Don't pay me today. Let this process roll for 6 weeks, and at the end of that process, send me a check for what you think it's worth." Right? 6 weeks goes by, and a letter shows up, postmarked from Bethlehem Steel in Ivy's mailbox. He opens it up. Inside is a check for $25,000. Now, today, obviously, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but back then, that was equivalent to what somebody said was like $450,000. And there was also a letter inside there. And the letter read, it was handwritten from Charles Schwab, and said, "Ivy, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate the advice that you gave us the last time that you were here. We've been using it for 6 weeks, and our efficiency has gone through the roof. Our productivity has gone absolutely bonkers," right? I probably didn't write that back in the 20s, but I mean, they went crazy. And he goes, "And by no means does the value of this check indicate to us the value of your advice, but it is the maximum amount that my controller would let me send to you in the mail." And so, it's obviously a tool. We get a lot of laughs, obviously, when Rob tells that story live, when he's speaking in front of groups. But, it truly is the way that I, try to go about my day each day. And I would implore you to try the same thing over the next 6 weeks. When you get done tomorrow, clear off your desk, sit down with a clear head, prioritize your top 6 tasks for tomorrow, and attack that list from 1 to 6 and see how far you get. I promise you'll get more done in a day. Have a great close to the week. Look forward to talking to you guys soon.